So, something big just happened, and it's going to affect millions of people across the country. But here's the thing, most people haven't heard the full story. And those who have probably didn't get a clear explanation. The Supreme Court just handed down a major ruling, and it's not just a legal win for former President Trump. It could reshape how federal policies are blocked, who is protected by the Constitution, and even whether some children born in America will be considered citizens. This isn't political drama. This is about the rule of law, your rights, and what kind of power the government really has. If you're a parent, a voter, an immigrant, or just someone who cares about how laws are enforced in your state, you are going to want to understand this. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you think federal courts should be able to block a president's policy nationwide? Or should their power be limited to just the people or places involved in the lawsuit? And if you appreciate content that breaks this stuff down without the noise, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's make sure the headlines don't leave you behind. Here's what just happened. In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court ruled that federal district courts can no longer issue nationwide injunctions, unless it is part of a certified class action case. That might sound technical, and it is. But what it really means is that one of the most powerful tools used to stop executive actions, like Trump's order on birthright citizenship, just got taken away from lower courts. For years, when someone sued over a federal policy, a judge could block that policy from taking effect across the entire country, even if the lawsuit came from just one state. But now that's over. Unless a case includes all affected people through a certified legal class, judges can only block a policy in the state or district where the lawsuit was filed. That's a huge structural change, and its effects are already being felt. The first big consequence: Trump's executive order attempting to end birthright citizenship is now taking effect in 28 states. Why? Because those states weren't part of the lawsuits that challenged the policy. So now, a baby born in California may be a U.S. citizen, but a baby born the same day in Arizona might not be if their parents are undocumented. Let that sink in. We now have different legal outcomes for the same situation depending on which state you're in. Confusing, yes. Alarming for many families. Absolutely. And it's not just about birthright citizenship. This decision could open the floodgates for other stalled executive actions to roll forward. We're talking about one voter ID laws to federal funding freezes 3-day and education policy. Rollbacks for immigration enforcement measures, even if those policies are still being challenged. They can now move ahead in states that aren't part of the legal fight. Supporters of the ruling say it restores balance. They argue one judge shouldn't be able to overrule a presidential policy for the entire nation based on a single case. President Trump praised the ruling, calling it a win for the Constitution and the rule of law. But critics, especially the liberal justices, are sounding the alarm. Justice Sonia Sotomayor gave a rare oral dissent, saying, quote, "If a policy is unconstitutional, it shouldn't be allowed in some states just because others weren't fast enough to sue. In other words, are your rights only protected if your state files the right lawsuit in time? So what happens now?" The Trump administration hasn't explained how this will work in practice. Will hospitals check immigration status? Will kids born in certain states be denied passports or social security numbers? No one really knows yet, and that's part of the problem. Advocacy groups are already prepping new lawsuits and class actions, but in the meantime, we could see a messy legal patchwork unlike anything in recent memory. Even if this ruling doesn't affect you today, it might tomorrow. Because now the rules for blocking presidential power are different. That affects civil rights, healthcare access, education, and even elections. This case didn't just change policy. It changed the process, and that means every future legal battle will play out on a new playing field. If you've seen changes already happening in your state, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share your experience. Your story might help someone else make sense of what's coming. And if this helped you understand what just changed, send it to a friend, and don't forget to subscribe so we can follow what happens next together.